Learn Python for AI. And welcome to everyone who has joined us on our social channels. So people who are joining us on our social channels, I request you to join us live on our Zoom link. And the link to the Zoom session is there in the chat. So you can see if you're on the desktop, on the left-hand side, on the right side, you will be able to find the link to the Zoom session, right? So I hope you're able to identify. It is pinned. It will be under a blue ribbon, right? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. And if you have already joined, one of our previous 2 days sessions, type J in the chat box. You joined our sessions previously. Type J in the chat box. Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you, Saujanya. Thanks, Vijay. So we have a lot of people who are joining us for the day 3. Thank you so much, everyone. So let's begin. So when we begin, we do a 5-minute technique called the Ho Open Open technique. So people who are joining us for the first time, I request you to follow the instructions here. You would have to close your eyes for this technique, and this is a Hawaiian technique called Ho'oponopono technique. This is a technique that is helpful in clearing self-doubt and negativity, and I hope this will be beneficial for you. This has benefited most of our community members. We have over 1,000 community members at Pixeltest who are Web3 and AI professionals, and I hope this is also helpful to you. Okay, great. I request you to close your eyes and repeat these high energy, high vibration statements along with me. I'd be taking my name during this. You'd be taking yours. I would say, dear Sachi, and you'd be saying your own name. Dear Rahul, dear Prem. Okay. Relax your breath. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Relax your shoulders. Relax your back. Relax your feet. Repeat the statements after me. I'm really sorry, dear Sachi. Here you'll be taking your name. I'm really sorry, dear Sachi, for not taking care of you. I'm really sorry, dear Sachi, for not believing in you. Thank you, dear Sachi, for letting me have this beautiful experience called life. Please forgive me, dear Sachi, for underestimating you. Please forgive me for not believing in you. From now on, it doesn't matter who doesn't love you. It doesn't matter who doesn't appreciate you, because I promise you, from now on, I love you, I'm here, and I will never let you go again. Take a deep breath. Rub your hands together and put that energy to your face. Amazing. Great. So give one word in the chat box. What was the result of this 2-minute Ho'oponopono technique? Right? So what is that you are feeling before and after? Hey Kuldeep, we are just doing an exercise and then we are joining back to our session. We are on the day 3. So if it's the first time you're joining, this particular 7-day program is broken down into half-an-hour sessions each day, and where we join every day and understand a little bit of Python day in and day out, right? So thank you so much, Kuldeep, for the question. Right, great. Thank you, Supraja, for joining in. So people who are joining us on our social channels, I request you to click on the Zoom link that is available on the chat so that you can interact with us live and ask your questions directly. People who are joining us for the first time from YouTube, then you can see that in the description there is a WhatsApp group link where you can join our group, where we'll share more updates about Python and our upcoming sessions as well. So during all of these sessions, we are going to even have our, on the 7th day, we're going to have our masterclass, which is taken by Latika ma'am, and she would be giving us more details about how to progress forward. You have learned the language for Python and how to get into data science, how to get into AI kind of roles and jobs, right? So I request everyone to keep coming back to these sessions, right? So let's begin. I'll be sharing the exercise link in the chat here. Okay, great. So people who are joining us on our YouTube channel, you can look for the link in the chat. People who have joined us on our Zoom link, I'll be sharing it here itself, right? Okay. So the mode of learning here is learn by exercise. Okay, I've shared the link to the exercise here. Yes, Supraja, there is a certificate for this program, and this requires people to understand and be there for at least 6 out of the 7 sessions, and we will be sharing a link to this session, and along with that we'll also be sharing link to the certification where you can fill in and directly after you are eligible for the certificate, you will be shared in the certificate as well. Right? Thank you so much for the question. Right. So I've shared the link to the exercise here in the chat for everyone. Thank you, Supraja. Thank you, Mesh. Thanks, Karthik. Thanks, Kodeshwaran. Thanks, Ankita. Okay, great. Then let me share my screen and we'll begin. So how many of you have joined our previous sessions where we covered variables on the day 1 and second day we have covered our conditionals, right? So how many of you have joined? If you've joined us, type me in the chat box. Great. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you, Sachin. Now what we're going to do here is on the day 3, we are going to learn a little about functions. The same exercises that we have done previously on conditionals, now we'll see how to make functions out of it and what are the benefits of functions, right? So basically, if you know functions, now what functions do is in programs is functions take an input and they give an output. So functions act like some processor, right? Some processing, right? Like how you go order something, somebody makes the food and then delivers it, right? So some functions are something like that. You give some inputs and then you get an output, and these functions require a little logic to be there within that particular lines of code. So how do we tell Python or a function what to do it in it is based upon the logic that we give in. So here we will be learning by exercise and understand it. So I hope the concept of functions is clear. Functions are something that when you give an input, it's going to process it and give you an output based upon the input, right? Okay, great. Yeah, there are, thank you so much for the question, Vishnu. So there are lots of different functions, and you can even say if you are going to search online on Facebook, if you're searching something, you are doing the search function and there will be a result function, and the result also will get returned to you, right? Even on a smaller scale, bigger scale, this you can do everywhere. Even if you are changing your channel by using a TV remote, there's a function. I mean, it's not like a proper Python function or something, but you're doing giving an input based, it is getting processed and there is an action that is getting performed, right? So I hope the concept of function is clear. Now what we are going to do is, here we are going to learn by exercise. So people who are joining us on their desktops, it is well and good, but if you are joining on your mobile, So you will see this in a different format. You will see this script.py, and beside that you will see this IPython shell. So whatever input you write here, you'll be able to see it here. So you might have to tap on each of them to see the output. Like for example, I'm going to print, say, hi. So if I'm going to do it, it's going to print here. And if you're on mobile, it will be on your right hand side or left hand side. Okay, great. Now we are going to do our first exercise. So people who are joining us for the day 3, who has joined us for day 1 and day 2, you'll know this exercise, you'll be familiar with this exercise, and the coin flip exercise. So in conditionals, we've understood this particular portion, right? So which is, if toss is heads, then print India is batting, if else Australia is batting. Now if you want a function to be there, right? So what do? We are going to give it something called a header and a response, right? So now what is a header? Is here we are writing the name, giving it a name of the function. Like for example, Facebook has a search function, Google has a search function. Let's just say we are naming it coin flip. The name of the function is coin flip, and the input you give it to it. The, like for example, you say to a restaurant, like I need, let's just say, meals. So that is the input. Now here you're going to give an input. Now the input is toss. Basically this toss is whatever. Now the waiter, he's trained to take your input. How does he take his input? Let's say he's writing it on a receipt, right? So now this toss is like that. There's a variable. I'm audible. If I'm audible, type A in the chat box. Great. Okay. If I'm audible, type A in the chat box. Yes, thank you, Priya. Thank you so much, Priya. Okay, so let me share my screen back again. So now we are understanding. Somebody will be taking that input. Let's just say that input is stored on a variable called toss. Now what happens here is we have defined a function named coin flip, and the input that it will save on is let's just say the variable name toss, right? So now this we have just added here, and now here I'm going to do something called a function call. What I do is I'm going to call this function. Now I have defined a function. I've just added one line over it. Okay, this exercise we have learned yesterday. If you have not joined our yesterday's session, if you're joining us from the WhatsApp link, you can see, if you scroll above, you'll be able to see the previous session links also. Else you can find the previous lecture on YouTube itself, right? So now if you look at coin flip function, I'm going to pass heads, right? So I'm going to say I've flipped the coin and the result is heads. Okay, thank you so much, Priya. Now I need not know what is the logic behind the function, right? So now if you see, there are the small arrows here. I'm going to click on this arrow and I'm just hiding the whatever is there between it in it, right? So I'm going to hide it. Now if I run this particular program, what it is going to do is it is going to take the input. So okay, give me I'll restart this session of this compiler. So functions are that you give some input and call the function, and the function will process it. So let's do that. So I'm going to run it. Now you can see that it says India is batting. If I'm going to give an input, say tails, it's going to say Australia is batting. Now, how was it able to do it, right? So how, if at all I give it tails once again, if the coin flip is tails, then it says Australia is batting. Whenever it is heads, it says it's India's batting. So we have given a little thinking ability to the Python program. So how this is made possible is like this. Now, this particular statement made this condition into a function which takes the input within the variable toss. Now, this variable, what it does is it comes here and does the function check. Earlier, we used to write the toss here, and we used to say toss equal to heads. We were manually giving it, not collecting it from the user. Okay, so you're doing it like that, but now we are giving it in the definition header itself. Whatever a person passes is in the function call. So this is called the function call, and the function comes here and says the toss is heads. Now whenever it is heads, it is going to print the first line, and whenever it is not, it is going to print this line, right? So I hope this example is clear. If this example is clear, type C in the chat box. Great. So we have a lot of people on our social channels. So if the example is clear, type C in the chat box. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can click on the Zoom link that is there in the chat to directly join us live. Okay, great. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for letting us know that it's clear. Okay, now what we are going to do here is go through the second example, which is the exercise 2. Here, instead of doing the same, like yesterday we have done the squared example. Now, I hope you have taken a screenshot. People who are watching this, you can take the screenshot of this so that you can run it by your own. So how do you run it? You open the link that I've shared on chat. You open that and, copy the exercise here and run it, right? So now that you understood what line means what, it will be easy for you to run. Okay, great. So now that you've taken screenshot, I'm going to add the second exercise, right? Now, if you see the second exercise, earlier we had so and so this particular statements, right? So what happened is we were doing a square of a number. Like let's just say there is n into n. If somebody gives n, then we are squaring it by saying n into n, and then we are printing the square of the number is and printing this variable called squared. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the difference between print statement and a return statement. Okay, so I'm going to give it the header which says the name of the function is square, and the input will be stored in the variable n. Okay, now we are giving it the keyword def, meaning this is the definition of the function. What is definition? Whatever follows this colon, this two dots, is the definition, right? So this is the body, right? Towards the end, whenever you have a return statement, that is called a response. Okay, now you need not know what is there. You know within the function there is n into n, but you need not actually know what is there in a function every time, right? So you can just do a square of 2. I'm going to run this, and you can see that the square of the number is 4. You can say the square of 25 is 625, and the square of 225 is something, right? So now how are you able to perform such bigger calculation so easily? Because there was a function, there is a square function that you have by yourself defined, and we have told how to write this in our day 2 session. So people who have not joined our session on day 2, I request you to go through our day 2 session as well, where we have discussed it in a clear way, right? So how many of you have understood what is a function and how to use it? If you understood a function, which is nothing but a way to return based up whatever the output is there, which is processed based upon the input, right? So if you understood what is a function, type U in the chat box. Great. Thank you so much, Vijeta. Thank you, Rachana. Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you, Sajanya. Great. So now that we are all on the same page, now we'll try to understand one more exercise, and then we can go forward. Like instead of, let's just say giving a square of a number, let's say you want to do a cube of a number, right? There's a new function. I hope you have taken the screenshot of this so that you can run it by yourself. Okay. Now, if you want to do a cube of a number, now this is the function definition. And here we are saying cubed or anything. And it says n into n into n, right? Cube is same number multiplied 3 times. Now, instead of printing squared, I'm going to print cubed. Okay, I think the spelling, I can ignore it for now. We'll just say cubed. Now, if I'm going to do a function call, I'll not do square now. I'll do a cube function. Now, if I give the cube of 2, it has to go inside the function. The 2 will come in the n. And now the cubed variable will be 2 into 2 into 2. And that variable now will have 8 and is going to print 8, right? So if I'm going to run it, you can see that, okay, so you can change the number here, print statement, cube of number is 8. You need not know what is there in the function. You can say 3, and the cube of 3 is 3 into 3 into 3, which is 27. Okay, so how many of you understood this example? If you understood it, type U in the chat box. Great. Kuldeep says the Zoom link is asking commercial Zoom ID. It basically is asking for you to log in. Maybe Kuldeep, I request you to click on the link that is shared and enter the passcode that is shared on the Zoom link, right? Okay, so we have other members who are able to join in. So I think that should be able to help you. Great. Now we have understood the function. Thank you so much, Priya. Thanks everyone for letting me know that you have understood it. Now, what we are going to do is not every time we have our own functions. There are some inbuilt functions. Like let's just say I'm going to clear this. Hope you have taken a screenshot, or if you remember that is also great, right? So I'm going to clear it. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a few inbuilt functions that are already there, right? So let's just say I'm going to say number, and I'm going to print number. And in the number, I'm saying I'm calling a function. Like you remember, we have cube as a function, right? Similarly, there is a max function. Now you see when you write max, it has become red, meaning it's an inbuilt function, right? So when there are many functions like that, there is min, there are a lot of functions like that. Now, if you see this max is going to take more arguments or inputs, like as I've given n as one input in our previous examples. Here it is going to take multiple numbers. It can take n number of numbers. Like let's just say I'm going to give it 999 or 1200. It's going to take all those inputs and it is going to return the max of it. So now I'm using the word return. I'll also show you what is a return, right? So now if you see, when it returns the highest number, it returns it and stores it in the value, the number that we have given, the variable, right? So return is nothing but it will give it to a variable that is calling it. Like, you're calling it here and equating it to number. So it is going to give the value, return the value to number. And when you print number, it is going to print 1200. So whatever is the highest number, it will print it. Like it is now, there is 1201. If I run it, the highest number, the max number is this, right? if I print the minimum number, min, the minimum function, now number is going to be, will have the value that is returned by this function min, and it will return whatever is there minimum of all the arguments. If I'm going to run it, this minimum function saved the least number and saved it in this variable, and it printed that particular number, right? So similarly, there are a lot of inbuilt functions, like we have length, right? So what happens in length is, this works on strings. Now I am giving a variable called length, and I'm going to print that length. So what will be there in this particular variable is the output returned by the function len. Len is the name of the function, and you can pass any string in it, right? So for example, if I say between this double quotes, my name, it's going to return 10 because my name has 10 characters. You can have your own name, right? You can type in your name and see that how many characters it is. You already know, but this length function gives you the length of the string. You can even use any particular, for example, I'm using this heading, I'm pasting it here, and I'm going to run it. Now you can see that there are 31 characters in it. You have to note that even the space is taken as a character, even the hyphen is taken as a character, and the number also is taken as a character, right? So you can use as many as, like, there are many inbuilt functions you can use, and the logic of it, like if you remember here, we have written the logic of it by ourselves. These are custom functions, and these functions are inbuilt, already predefined functions, right? So now if you come back to the example we had here previously, so how many of you understood the inbuilt functions? If you understood the inbuilt functions, type U in the chat box. Great. Thanks for giving more info about Python, Anurag says. Thank you so much, Anurag. Rehan, hi. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for sharing all the inputs. That's great. Now we have come back, understood what is the length, what is minimum, what are the inbuilt functions. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to understand this return statement in our previous example. Revisiting our previous example, I've cleared the inputs. Now this return statement in a function, what it does, it returns the value and saves it wherever the call is happening. For example, I'm going to say result as a variable, and I'm going to say equal to. Now I'm going to call the function. The function name is square, right? I'm going to use the same name. Instead of n, I'm going to pass, like, let's just say n9. Okay. So now when you pass 9, 9 will go in the place of n, and it will do n into n, or n power 2, and then it will print the square of the number is print the variable squared, which is 9 into 9, right? And then it will return the value 81 to result, right? So that is going to happen. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to remove these print statements here from this particular example, right? I've removed this statement because I'm not printing within the function, I'm printing it outside. So how do I do that? I'm going to say print, and within parentheses, I'm going to say result, right? So if I'm going to run it, I need not know what is there in the function. If I'm going to run it, square of 9 result will be saved in the result, and then we're going to print the result. If I'm going to run it, you can see that 81 got printed. If I'm going to run 25, it is going to give me the result once again. You can even run complex numbers also. Now you see that the result is getting printed because a square, the function square, is returning the value after it is processing the input and giving it to the variable result, right? So how many of you understood what is a return statement? in a function? If you understood it, type U in the chat box. Okay, Priya says a little confused. Okay, so let me explain it here. Now, a function need not have a return statement. So the confusion is about return statements. Okay, so we have to be clear where the confusion is there. So now let's just say we have a function. What this function does is it squares whatever input you are giving. Okay, we are clear here. Step one is clear what the function does. Okay, we know the function definition starts like def, the name of the function, and the input that is going to take. Right, so this is how it works. Now within the function, what you do is your logic. Now here you are going to say squared. We are creating a new variable, right? So maybe what I'll do, I'm going to say number. Okay, instead of squared, right? I'm going to create a new number within the function, and in that number I'm going to save n into n. Whatever number is passed as an input that comes here, like for example it is 2, the 2 will come here, and 2 into 2, 4 will be saved in the number. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, now Priya, what does number have? What is the now if the n is 2, what do you think the variable number will have in it? What value will it have? 4, right? Great. Now what I'm going to do here is, here I'm going to, in a new line, say return 4. Okay, if I say return 4, it will always return 4 only. Instead of return 4, I'm going to say return number. Okay, whatever will be there in number, return it, right? I mean, it's like this. So what you are having one person, and you're asking them to what is the square of 2. Now once they process it, if they don't tell you back, they're not returning it, right? So that is what the function does here, right? So when you say return, so they're going to return it, right? So the output is given back. So now that return, where will it return? To whom will it return? Where the call is happening. So here we are creating a variable, let's just say result. Okay, let's just say result is what we want to hold the value, the function call, whatever is there. We want to hold that function calls result in a variable called result. Now here we have the function. There you are passing 2. So you are asking 2, what is the square of 2? And it goes in here and say 2 into 2, and now the number has 4, and the number value is 4, and it is going to return 4. Now here it is 4. Now what is the result? Result becomes 4, and when you print result, it is going to print 4. Okay, so I'm going to restart this session. I hope that clarified your doubt, Priya. Now we'll run it to understand it in a better way, right? So like for example, if I'm here, if it is 4, it will definitely print 4 no matter whatever is here. Now here, instead of this, I'm going to say square of 2. 2 will come here, 2 into 2, and number will be 4, and 4 is returned, and here it will be 4, and result will have 4, and we'll print the result. Then 4 will come. So what return does is it gives the value back to the variable it is being called, and we can print that variable. We can use that variable. Okay, so basically the confusion is between the word number or result. These are temporary interim numbers. Now what you can do is you can have any word, like let's just say I'm going to use my own word, like my own name. Now Sachi is n into n. Now return Sachi. Okay, Now, whatever is there, the result, the variable named Sachi will have this value. And when you run this particular statement, that value gets saved in this particular result. Okay. Here also you can have any other name. Let's just say Pixeltests. Okay. Now Pixeltests will have the square of 2 and 2 will be returned. Here it is not material at all. What is the name of the variable? You just have to return it, right? So instead of such, you can say, let's just say y equal to n into 1, return y, and that y will be returned in pixel test, and I can print pixel tests and I'll run it. It'll still give me 4. If I pass 3, 3 will be here in the function square n. So because the square function is called, it's come here. Now y will have the value 3 into 3, and the y is being returned, and it is being saved in the any variable name that you have, and we are going to print that variable or use it. Okay. So Priya, I hope your the question, if the question is, we have not mentioned what is number or what is y or what is pixel test anywhere. Like for example, if you are in C or a Java language, you say like something like int, I say int y equal to 0, right? So where you say y is an integer and it has a value 0. So Priya, now you are in Python, you can be more free. So that is the benefit of Python. Now, if you initialize y as 0, it is going to be a number only. But in Python, what Python does is it compiles it. I mean, it processes it while it is running. So if you say y equal to 0, you don't have to say integer or str or anything. You remove it, and if you give it 0, it will become an integer, right? So let me give you this data type. I'm going to say type of y. If you give it 0, and I'm going to remove this, if I run it, you can see it is an int. If I say 0.5, it will become a float. If I say, if I give it a string, I can make it Sachi, is going to become a string. So it processes, and you don't have to define it before. You can directly use it like we have done here. I think I understood your confusion now, Priya. Sorry for not getting it in the beginning. Yes. So in Python, you don't have to initialize before itself. You can create a variable when and where you require it, and it will understand, okay, this is going to be an integer, this is going to be a square, this is going to be a string, and then it is going to return it, right? Okay, I hope that clarifies your question. Many others doubt also. Thank you so much, Priya, for the question. So I hope today we were able to understand functions, the difference between return statement and print statements. What are functions? What do functions do, right? So thank you so much everyone for joining in for event day 3. I hope you continue joining us for rest of the 4 days. On our 7th day, we'll have our masterclass, where you'll have more information about how you can take your Python learning to next level, and how you can make a career out of it and get a job ready and better salaries, right? So all of that is covered. There's a lot of other things also. Even if you are learning what are the prospects of Python and how you can grow yourself, all of that is covered in that particular masterclass. Also, we are going to cover it little by little in our everyday 30-minute session also, right? So may I ask, Priya, which city you are from, or did we introduce in our previous session? You can unmute and let us know. Chennai. Okay. Thank you so much, Priya. Thanks everyone for joining in and running the programs along with us. Hope you are able to do them live, and if you are able to do them live, practice and keep running it. Yes, Priya, you can let
Hi,
us
hi.
know. Yes, Priya, ma'am. So what
And
do
good
you
afternoon.
do, ma'am?
Sorry, good evening.
Very good evening. Very good evening. So how long it's been that you've learned your previous language, like C or other language?
2003, nearly 20,000 back, 20 years back.
But you still remember that, you have to initialize or, it has.
Because I liked more C language. And after finishing my college, I'm a insect in the same institute
Hmm.
for 3 to 4 months.
Wow,
So
that's.
it's by heart.
Yes, yes. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's very strong because I don't know about others or maybe many of them, but I definitely re- forget sometimes what I've learned a few years back. So I really appreciate that, Priya ma'am. So I think now you are getting a little habitual to Python. So both have their own benefits, like C and Python. If at all we have to differentiate, C in C, whatever you have written the program, first you have to compile it and then run the compile, right? Run the program, the
Yes.
executable file. But Python runs in runtime, it runs live. So that is the reason C sometimes is fast, the executable is fast, but
Okay.
you cannot change C while you're running it. But Python is very dynamic, and
Okay.
it is like little bit slower than executed C, but you can do a lot of more flexible things in Python. Like you don't have to remember 10 lines of code. Like if even if you have to print or do for loops and all those things, very easier in Python. And the scope for Python is also easy. And you don't actually need, if it was C, you require to have the environment and everything. But Python, you can directly use a lot of different ways to run Python and learn it easily.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So, but thank you so much, Priya ma'am. So, what do you currently do, ma'am? I know you've answered yesterday, but
I told I'm a presently two kids, just a homemaker.
great. So,
But
yesterday,
I want to prove myself because I am 20 years back. I'm a strong in language. That
mm,
time only BSc computer science. That time I tried, but most of the companies said we required only B, otherwise PG graduations. They said.
correct.
So at that time, I am only a graduate BSc Computer Science and a very small college. I think I don't know, Chellamal. So when I say that college name, immediately they rejected. You are a spoken languages too poor like that and all they said, but they didn't test my knowledge in
Got
language.
it, got it. So, I mean, that is actually fascinating. A few years back, the scenario was like that. But now markets have changed dynamically because maybe that there was a little, limited demand for the such people. Now there's a huge demand. And now the priority is not just for communication, it is for skill set also. And I see that now your communication and everything is decent, so it's good enough for you to join the work stream. I
Actually,
definitely.
I'm not defrosted me. Afterwards, I have interested in airlines field. So I
Mhm.
immediately I tried for 6 months. It is not getting easy. So I moved to airlines field. So I did a course in airlines
Okay.
diploma course, and I got a customer service representative in Indian Airlines. So I worked for 1.5 years. That time, after getting married, my husband and my parents side they are not interested to me send a job in airlines field because 24/7. So I'm going
Correct.
to do that night shift also. So
Mm.
after marriage, they are not allowed me. So
Yeah.
simply after marriage, 2009, simply I'm at home only. So everything is
Yes.
closed.
Yes, yes. Now that Priya ma'am, I know I can actually visualize how it would have been. But you're on the right track. You're in the right mindset. I'm 100% sure because in our community also we have a lot of homemakers. You can definitely learn from home, like you are already doing it, and move forward. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Is it possible to getting a job if I study something in IT field? That is my major question.
Yes.
Because
So
my husband told you are now 40, so they are not offering for older current people only. They are requiring because they are ready to do at any time. They
Mhm.
have a fast than you, and he said like, and all my friends also said like that only.
Okay.
So a little doubt I have whether I am going up, take a path with this right or not.
I think the doubt is genuine because we are coming from that thought process that people were looking at ages and all. Now situations have changed dynamically, ma'am. Uh, as an exercise, what I would like you to do, and many others also, if you have your LinkedIn profile updated, if you do not have created, and start applying for, even without learning full Python, just start applying for a few jobs and see what kind of job description is written out there, so that you'll understand. And maybe you can even first, just because you're experimenting, try look for maybe entry jobs or intermediate jobs. You'll be surprised to receive a few calls. Like, it has to be done persistently. It is not like you will just apply once and put your resume once and say ki, okay, I have applied, it has not come, right? At least you have to apply 5 jobs a day. LinkedIn has a lot of jobs in them. You have to go into LinkedIn, say, go into the job section, type in like just say Python, uh, just Python programmer or just Python. So you'll get a lot
Okay.
of list of jobs. Go ahead and apply and see. Every day 5 jobs. And I'm sure that within a month, one month, you'll if you get a few calls, or you'll proceed forward, or at least your mindset, you will be in, like, you can go ahead and apply, because in our community we have many members who are able to do apply for many roles also. Because the demand for a lot of jobs is there right now. People
Yeah.
look for people, because most of the technologies right now, I'm not just talking about just Python. Now, for example, if you're upskilling yourself, learn a little bit more and learn how to process data using Python, which will be later stages. What will happen is there is a lot of demand for people who can, who are data scientists, or who are data
Yes.
science professionals, data analysts, data
Mm.
engineers, or entry level
The
data.
past 1 year, I am watching and gathering informations, and parallelly, I am searched. You said no LinkedIn and all. Naukri, LinkedIn, Indeed. I searched, but in that searching, the result is freshers passed out 2000 from 18 onwards, like and all. But myself is 2003 in
It's not
grad in
about.
yeah.
So I request you, ma'am, like, maybe I am sharing my detail here.
Okay.
I'd help you with the resume, because I would share with you an number. So what happens is, when you're uploading your resume, there
Okay.
is something called application tracking system, ATS. So what
Okay.
happens is, when you upload your resume, it
Okay.
will look for a few keywords and score your resume. If your score of your resume is less,
Okay.
the employer will never see your resume, right?
Okay.
So you have to update it with the few good keywords, and, like, if you're just written C and all those things, you have to update it with better keywords. You have to write a few projects or experience or something like that. Even
Okay.
if you don't have on-hand experience at this moment, work on a few projects and include those projects. And I'm
Yeah.
100% sure your resume will reach a few people. Now, what is happening is, even employers, they'll have filters. People who have whose score is higher, people who are from so and so, people who are this from the city, who are willing to work, relocate, all those filters they'll have. So it is about visibility. Like, having the technical skills is one area, and knowing how to crack the ATS system, or crack an interview, is another thing. In our
Mm.
community, we cover all that also, right?
Okay.
A few of the demo sessions you'll be able to find on our YouTube channel. You can search on our YouTube channel. CV mastery and all those things, but in detailed personal and all those things we cover in the community also. So this you have to do consistently, man. They have to be. So that is why in our community we say.
Now I am not applied, but I am searching what their requirements presently. Like that only. I am not.
No, you should apply. You should apply.
Searching. But I'm not uploading and searching like that and all.
Okay. So I think then there is a function. Let's just say you're not given the input, so the output is always no. Like when you don't ask, the answer is no. So it's like that. You have to attempt. Then you'll be able to have some data to tell it's working, it's not working, and all. Because I'm sure within our community, many people are able to do it, right? So I even shared my details. So you can always reach out. Even in the WhatsApp group, you'll be able to reach out to us. People who are joining us on our social channels, you can see that link to the WhatsApp group is there on the description.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, Priya ma'am. And
sure.
I hope, you have to continually do it, ma'am. Like, it's not like we do it one weekend, then there is gap. You have to keep doing it, because I'm sure if you upskill yourself into any data science related course, there is definitely that kind of demand in the market, right? They are looking at skill set, not the age group or these things.
Actually, last month I searched and IT Vedant, they are providing a course, as well as they are giving a internship and all, like and all. I seen some advertisements, so I make a call. That time I introduced myself. That time they said, for your kid, they're asking. Suddenly I fed up. Oh my God! So this is the not way to for me, and that's why I'm not applying resume and all.
No, I think you are there, ma'am. Like, so basically what happens is we start something, when we hit a roadblock, we stop it. So, but, the whole interview process also, even people who are very skilled, who are, maybe there is some lack of first time they're attending an interview or something, there is rejection always. Like there is something that is not happening. But it is like, it's like a function. It's like a way to, if you apply so and so number of jobs, then you'll get shortlisted in some, then you'll talk to them. Maybe they'll say like, okay, it's key, okay, they are looking for so and so criteria, but you keep on doing it until you get to what you are desiring for. So you should not get like fed up and not apply, right? You should get fed up with that person and then apply somewhere else, right? So you keep doing that, and you do it with a positive attitude, with saying, okay, let's keep trying. Okay, this is not a match. Let's go somewhere else. Let's try somewhere else. And I'm
That's
sure.
why I would have passed 1 month. I stopped everything. Afterwards, again, my mind is not interest. So again, some curiosities and searching YouTube. That time, Pixeltext, that ad is coming. That sir is IIT Madras, something, I don't know that name. He spoke.
Great.
So I registered, and yesterday only I joined this class.
Wow, great. So I think you'd also be, liking our 7th day session, the masterclass. I hope you'll even take more value about even your doubts about age and all those things get clarified, because we have a few testimonials who are, over 50 plus. So that's not your problem. Great. So thank you so much, ma'am. So looking forward, keep continuing, no matter, whatever is there. Just keep continuing your efforts. I'm sure, you'll get there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.
So thanks, everyone. Thank you so much, Priya ma'am, for coming and candidly sharing your experience. And many people on our social channels say that, more power to you. So this is something we do. So MPTY. So I request everyone to go ahead and type MPTY Priya, which means more power to you, right? Great. So thank you so much, ma'am. And yes, Manvik says thank you. Thanks, everyone. Looking forward to tomorrow's session, and have a rest of the good day. Right, more party. Bye. Thanks, man.